So from that point, they were already, all my doctors were extremely amazed that I even woke up. And they told my family that at best, I would be able to walk and talk in between 1 and 2 years. I would be able to walk and talk again. And that was the best case scenario. And then even after I could walk and talk, I would need assistance. So I was, of course I had a tracheotomy. The usual route for breathing is somehow obstructed or impaired. So I guess in my case it was just that I was in a coma for a long time and I couldn't breathe anymore. I couldn't do it on my own anymore. So at first it's like a bigger hole, and then over time they downsize you, which for me was quite painful. So they'd come in every week or so and they'd take it out, put a smaller size in, and then your body just closes around it and closes smaller and smaller. And then finally, they cap it, so it's a hole. So actually, it's so interesting and crazy because you're not breathing through your mouth and your nose, and I didn't even realize this at the time. You're not breathing through your mouth and your nose, you're breathing through the hole in your throat. And so you have to have a ventilator, because when you inhale, your mouth and your nose like moisten the air that you're inhaling. When you just have that hole in your throat and you don't have the ventilator or the humidifier, it is very uncomfortable, and for me it was pretty painful because the air is so dry that you're creating a lot of mucus and you're coughing a lot. And they actually, I would get suction a lot. Like I would page the nurse in, and they have this suction like vacuum thing that they put in your. This is so gross, but it's just a part of being sick. It is what it is. They put like a hose down into the hole because there's all this mucus building up, and it's like a vacuum, and they suction the mucus out of you. So that was just a regular part of my life that happened many times a day. I would just say, hey, I need suction, and they'd suck it out of my throat. It was really gross. It's gross, it sucks, whatever. It's just like life. Like, it's very comfortable at that point. Like, you kind of just become friends with all the girls who are cathing you every day, and like, they say like once you go into the hospital, all privacy is gone. Like, you lose all that, and that's fine. Like, it just is what it is. Like, you're just healing and you're getting better, and that's it. And they would clean off, so you have the trach, and then you have like a choker necklace around to keep it in place, and they would take it off, they would clean it so it didn't get infected, they would clean around my feeding tube, and then the doctors would do their rounds. So I had like 10 doctors that came every day. I was in my bed, and like all the doctors would stand around me. I called them my squad. I thought I was hilarious. I was highly medicated. Of course I had a tracheostomy. You can see it. Some people ask me. I get asked pretty often, like, what's wrong with your neck? What happened to your neck? It's not so bad anymore. Something else that was really difficult while being in the hospital was learning how to eat again. So finally, they took me off of they took out my feeding tube, which was literally the craziest, weirdest, most uncomfortable experience, because there's an incision where they put the tube, and it goes into your stomach. So after a while, they were able to take that tube out. That was the most uncomfortable thing I will ever experience in my life. That's how you do it. You just rip it out. It's crazy. And then I was able to begin the process of learning how to eat again. Because you lose all those muscles in your throat and your windpipe and everything, the concern is that the food is going to go down the wrong pipe and it'll go in your lungs, and maybe you'll get pneumonia or whatever you might get. Barium, that's the ingredient. Okay, so I would do the swallow study. They would bring me down to the room where I'd get the x-ray. So the x-ray is over here, I'm right here, and then there's like a tray of different things in front of me. And then there's a screen where I can watch what's happening. It's the x-ray, I can see my everything. So I would have water with barium in it, and then I would have like a marshmallow fluff type thing with barium in it, and I had a graham cracker with the fluff with the barium, and I had a couple other things. One of the best moments of my entire life for the rest of forever was when I was able to drink water again. And then it would show on the x-ray what happened, if it looked like it was going to go down the wrong tube, if I was swallowing it correctly. They could see all the contractions and everything. Every day started, a nurse would come in, she would give me like a little bit of applesauce because she had to give me my medication. And then the occupational therapist would come in. Usually my occupational therapy consisted of taking a shower every day because that was something I had to learn how to do, and it was very physically exerting and exhausting. It was very, very difficult for me to lift my hands up and wash my hair. I had been getting bed baths for a long time, and the first time I got a bath, it was before I could walk. So they put me in a, what is it called? I have to look it up. I think it was called like a Hoyer lift or something. I couldn't stand up on my own yet, so they put me like in this it's almost like a little hammock, and it hangs from the ceiling. So I think how they did it, I think they put me in the wheelchair, and then they put me in the Hoyer lift, and they kind of, it was like in the ceiling, and they lifted me up, and they brought it over to the tub room, and then they put me down, and they put me in a chair, and I think they put the chair in the tub, or they just put me in the tub. I was very small and fragile, and it was kind of easy to move me around and get me places. And that was the first time I took a bath, and she made me feel like a princess. It was so nice. Because at the time it was really hard. That was actually when I was still writing on a whiteboard. And so they put me in the Hoyer lift, and I brought the whiteboard and my marker with me, and she put me in the bathtub, and she had this like organic aromatherapy shampoo and conditioner, and she washed my hair, and we talked, and I wrote on my whiteboard. And she just made me feel so good when I wasn't feeling like myself, and it was really nice. So thank you, Emily. So for a little while, I was able, they gave me a few baths. That was earlier on, and then, so later on was when I started getting occupational therapy, and then I started learning how to give myself a shower. At first, they would put me in the chair, they would have me sit on a bench in the shower, and they would give me a bath, or a shower in the shower, and then I learned how to do it myself. It started, I was in the chair, and I did it myself. I think it was like, I would wash my hair, and then they would take the shower head and like rinse me off, and then I started doing it by myself while the occupational therapist sat outside. She was amazing. I can't remember her name, but she was amazing. Her name was, I can't remember. So she would sit out while I gave myself a shower, and then from there I started standing up and giving myself a shower, which was extremely, extremely difficult, but I was so proud of myself when I was able to do it. It felt so good. I would call my family and tell them that I could give myself a shower and that I could brush my own teeth and that every time I could do something new, it was just such an amazing feeling. And then, so after occupational therapy, I would have physical therapy, and that consisted of a lot of different things. In the beginning, in the very, very beginning, I would just like bring my knees up to my chest a couple times and do this and do this, and then after a while it was like I would take a couple steps in my bedroom or my room in the hospital. I'd take a couple steps in the room, and then yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't remember, but then after a while they brought me to like this little gym down the hallway from my room, and there were like ballet bars and a mat and like some very small weights and then like a little 4-step staircase. So I would start doing like balance exercises and a little bit of like different just like minimal exercises and band exercises and things like that. And what else? And then I'd go back to my room. I never really had a break because there were so many things that needed to be done. So then I would talk to a doctor for a little bit, and then usually I would have to talk to a psychologist for a little bit, and then over time I would taper off of the medication. They would see how I was doing. I would have to do EEGs. I had to take tests. They had to do labs. And then I had to do speech therapy. I had to do cognitive testing. In the beginning it was really bad, and then over time, like, as my cognition got better, it was fine. But at first it was like, they would show me pictures of animals, and I had to like name the animals, and every day when I woke up in the beginning, they would say, "Who are you? Do you know your name? What year were you born? What year is it? Do you know who the president is?" I would make jokes about that. They didn't always think I was very funny. I would say, unfortunately, yes, I do know who the president is. And throughout everything, I became so close with all of my nurses and doctors. It was finally time for me to be discharged, it was almost kind of sad because they were like my family at that point. It was really weird to leave. But I was really excited to go home. And I had no idea. I was under the impression that once I got home I was going to be all better, and that was not the case. I had to take on all new challenges just like I did when I woke up. So I guess now I could talk about my diagnosis. And I just want to say that there's never really been like a definite diagnosis of what has and is happening to me. I said they've done every test on me. They've studied me. They're still studying me. When I go, the last time I went for a checkup, Mayo Clinic requested a lab so that they could take some of my blood and do a lot of studies on me and continue to try to figure things out, but they still haven't figured it out. They just don't really have any answers, and that's okay. Like, that happens all the time. I know that every person who took care of me did everything in their power to make sure that I was okay and I was comfortable and that I was going to be okay, and I am. So, the diagnosis that I received is autoimmune encephalitis. We know that my immune system attacked my brain. That's one thing we know. So my immune system attacked my brain, caused my brain to swell up, and that caused uncontrollable seizures. Why that happened, we don't know. So I'm gonna look up the actual diagnosis or the definition of this. So here it says, autoimmune encephalitis is a serious medical condition in which the immune system attacks the brain, impairing function. To put it simply, autoimmune encephalitis means that my immune system malfunctioned. It went crazy and it attacked my brain, and we don't know how long that had been happening or how long I've had this condition, but my immune system attacked my brain, and caused it to swell up and caused me to have seizures. This is a pretty rare condition, and we don't know what causes it, and we don't know if this is going to be something that will continue to affect me, and that's another thing that my doctors just can't really know for sure. So I guess I can wrap up this video now after I've talked for 2 hours and I don't even think I've covered nearly everything. I think I've decided that I want to make a lot of videos about this. I want to make videos for anyone else who has gone through this, anyone who has been sick in any way, anyone who's gone through something difficult like this, any medical condition, any situation where you've been in the hospital for a long period of time or in and out of the hospital, anyone who's struggling with anything, and anyone who has family or friends who are sick. I want to make videos for you. I've seen it all. I've experienced all of it, all of the worst of it. I can't say that I know what you're going through, but I would like to offer help, so I'm going to continue to make videos about my experience, and I am going to make videos for anyone who has questions. I'm going to make videos for those of you who have someone that you know going through something difficult and you don't know how you can help. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make videos for those of you who are going through something. Okay. Alright, how do I close this video? I hope I was able to answer some questions for you, and I really look forward to making more videos. So please do not hesitate to message me if you have any questions, if you need any help. I am so excited to do this. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to hopefully help other people. I'm going to link all my social media down below. You can contact me, and please do. I hope I answered your questions, and I hope to talk to you soon. Alright, bye.